For week 4's programming assignment, we're going to be doing an introduction to CSS. This is still part of Codecademy HTML and CSS. We've spent the last 3 weeks looking at HTML, and now we're going to start looking at CSS. What you need to do is you need to complete these 2 items right here, CSS and overview, and design a button for your website. You can see that here in Blackboard assignments. You need to do CSS and overview and design a button for your website, and that's all under an introduction to CSS. An introduction to CSS, CSS overview, design a button for your website. So do those 2, get check marks there. Let me point out this one thing which is really good for you to know. When you are doing these things, when you're learning about CSS, it's really good to start playing with the settings, and this platform is so awesome because you could see, wow, if I change this setting, how does it affect things? So let me just come down here and choose something. Links, bordering on insanity, links, background color, height, and width. So here we have a box, right? And here's our HTML. And we are linking to a style sheet. You can see right here we have a reference to a style sheet. That's a hyperlink reference. It's where it's at, and it's a style sheet. So it's going to link to this style sheet. If this was an actual website, what that would look like is I would have a folder with an HTML file in it and then a CSS file in the same directory. So as a matter of fact, this file right here, air.html, is linking to main CSS, and main CSS is right there. So they're in the same directory. If they weren't in the same directory, you'd see slashes and things like that, telling me how to get to the file I want to access. All right, so let me come back to there. So we have our HTML page. It's linked to stylesheet.css. Here's the style sheet right there. And we're starting to add some CSS code in here. And this div, we're saying select all the elements on the page that have a div. Well, here's a div right there. So the CSS code, and you're going to learn this, I'm just showing you how you can play with it. CSS code says, all right, I'm selecting all the divs, and I'm going to apply these settings to them. I'm going to give it a height of 100 pixels, a width of 100 pixels, and a background color of this. Right? I could try giving it a width of 400 pixels. How does that change it? Or a height of 200 pixels, right? Or 250. Or I could change it, instead of to that, I could do CC FFFFF. White, interesting. What about just like that? Or like this? Or like all zeros, 6 zeros. Oh, that's all black. That's kind of interesting. Or what if I just type in blue? Gives me blue. So you can start playing with the settings here and seeing how it changes stuff. And that's a really good way to learn how CSS works. So as you go through these different tutorials, do what the instructions say, but also take a moment to kind of goof around and change them and see what happens when you put in different stuff and different settings and see what it looks like. All right, so enjoy this. You're getting to the fun stuff. And just a little preview of where we're going, what we're going to learn is you are going to create this right here. It's just better for me to show it to you. And don't be overwhelmed, because by the time we get here, you'll know everything you need to create this. I mean, look at that. That's awesome, right? You got links up here. You put your mouse over them. You get the little underline. You got links up here. Nice picture with text on it, right? Nice layout, structure down here, some text down here. This is the Airbnb page from a little while back, but this is one of the things that we're going to be learning at Codecademy. They're going to walk us through this. And as we scale this, it's responsive. So you can see, like, if this was being seen on a smaller screen, everything lined up right there. It all fell into line. Or if it's on an even smaller screen, it starts to break apart. That looks all right, actually. I don't know where the cell phone would be. Maybe right there. Yeah, it starts to break apart a little. That's okay right there. Anyhow, that's what we're going to be building, and I think it's pretty cool. I've just gone through all these trainings, checking them out for you, and I was quite impressed how Codecademy's put this all together. So enjoy it. Get those next things done, which is the first CSS stuff right here: introduction to CSS, an overview, and design a button for your website. CSS and overview, design a button for your website. Great. Have fun.